Everyone wants simplicity in this business, right? Or in any business. With real estate, it's just an easy way to get in the market. Now you have to understand simple equals easy, easy equals low risk equals low reward most of the time. Basically, if you're starting out, a lot of times you don't have to do crazy risky things. Things might look harder than they actually are. That was my experience too. I was asking a lot of questions, but me, I generally just tend to be, I guess you could say, just a high risk person. I just take more risks. I have less responsibilities. I don't have any kids. I do have bills. I have everything that the average person has, but for me, that's good enough for me to be able to take more risks. So if you're starting off in real estate, or you want to get in, you want to get your first property, figure out obviously what you're okay with, right? You want to obviously have a general plan of, let's say, the market you want to go to. You want to understand concepts, makes sense financially. Like obviously get properties that make sense. You know, they have the cash flow. They're in a decent market that has good fundamentals. So once you understand the basic concepts, now you want to start building out the team of people that are going to help you get your foot in the door. So pick the market, even connect with other investors, right? You want to see, a lot of times we need to see people like ourselves, or maybe people who remind us of ourselves that are doing these things that maybe, we think we're not capable of doing, but it's a lot simpler than you think, right? Especially once you jump in, believe me, it gets a lot easier. Like I can say from when I started to even 6 months after I got my first property, it was like a whole different world. I was like, wow, this is a lot more simple than I thought it was, right? Obviously, it's not all easy. There are some challenges, but that's part of business. That's part of anything you do in life. Once you pick the area that you want to go to, build out your team. Talk to investors that are in that area. There's so much content, honestly, right now. This is something I've heard from investors that have been in this business for over 5 to 10 years. You gotta understand, in the last I'd say 5 years, Canada's actually gotten a lot more, or I guess in terms of social media and content, we've gotten a lot more info on where to invest. There's videos on specific cities. There's videos, if you go on YouTube, on specific markets, specific cities in each province, and people will point you to the right people that are in that area too, like the right realtor, other investors, contractors. So there's tons of information, right? So access that information, tap into it, connect with the people, connect with an agent working in that city that's investor focused. They'll probably have their own properties in that area. So you can connect with them and maybe even ask them to show you their properties. Once you do that, once you've gotten the big picture, right, I'm gonna tell you, this is a key part. So once you have this little, I guess you could say, team built up of people, and you have this knowledge, now it's all on you. Now you have to make the move. If you don't do that, honestly, it's your fault. I'm just gonna give you the cold, hard truth. And that happens to a lot of people. I've seen people who've literally sat around. They did all the homework, everything. And this is the risk part. In the beginning, this is the risk. Once you get past that step, you're gonna be like, wow, I was overthinking this whole thing. Obviously, once you get more advanced, for people that have more properties, there's different things that you need to consider, like your direction and where you wanna go. But if you're just starting out, keep it simple. And once you figure the basic stuff out and you connect with the right people, jump in. The opportunity cost of waiting, honestly, is not worth it. And I'm not saying this to pressure someone to get into the market. What I'm saying is if this is what you want to do, and you've made all those moves and you figured out that there's people that you see doing it and you want to be like them, all the other, I guess, things that drive you, the passion, everything that's there, then don't wait. Don't get in your own way. It's one of the strongest assets, right? Compared to any other, I guess, risk you can say that you're gonna take, this is probably a better option because you're getting into something that is so secure. It's one of the strongest assets in pretty much history, right? It's been proven time and time again. Take the opportunity if you have the means, and especially if you don't have a lot of responsibilities, you don't have kids, there shouldn't really be anything stopping you. Understand, most small businesses, like if you were to open a convenience store or you're really passionate about getting into any other small business, statistically speaking, most small businesses fail within the first few years in Canada. If you open up a convenience store, for example, or you open up a clothing store, things don't go well, you gotta shut down and you gotta sell your inventory at basically like maybe like half or even less of whatever you bought it for. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna take a loss. With real estate, like I said, if you've already mitigated your risk, you've consulted people, you got professionals on your side, like realtors, mortgage brokers, you got all your stuff figured out. Worst case, if you don't like it, man, just, sell the asset. Maybe, you know, you'll lose a little bit of money, maybe like on holding costs, maybe if you do a reno, something like that. But it's never gonna be like the worst case scenario. If you're already an investor, I really wanna talk to those people that have gotten into this. They've gotten basically to a certain level and now all of a sudden they're low risk. Now, if you're content with where you're at, obviously I'm not gonna be the one to tell you, oh, you gotta do this, you're wrong. Do what makes you happy first and foremost, right? If you're experienced or if you're new. Sometimes, I think back about when I first started this, it was such a struggle getting the first property, doing the rentals, doing all that stuff, figuring it out. But I was so passionate, I was so driven, every challenge was like another step that I was just passionate about overcoming. So I feel like people lose that passion. I don't know why, I'm sure everyone has their own reasons, but if you still want to do this thing, have that same passion if you're going to continue to invest and you've already gotten into this. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Things changed, honestly, even in the last 6 months. I'm not saying just pay more or just throw away your money, but pivot, change up your strategies, change up markets if you have to, if it fits your strategy. Basically, you want to refer to your why and your passions for why you're even doing this. Always refer back to that. Just sit back and take a look at the big picture. Align those two things. So risks that align with your vision and the big picture. Because that's what's going to make you happy. Even if things do look tough, those are those opportunities where you're going to be like, you know what? This makes me content and I'm happy with doing this and making this decision. All right, well, thank you guys for watching. I try to make this content for people that have these challenges and these questions like myself. I'm in these positions too, remember that. So if you have any questions or you want to reach out to me, you can always hit me up on Instagram at DanishRLT. That's probably the best place to get a hold of me.